Yo, it's Guido coming back at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in on this episode. We have a Centurion Action X driven by... What have I done? What have I done here? Pressed the wrong thing. Driven by Squash Balls from Clan Cartel, my clan, and he is here on whatever this place is called. Live Oaks. Live Oaks. This thing is an amazing hold-down tank, but I want you to watch some of the things that Squash Balls does right here. Because, see that how that's double bushed there? He's just in this bush. And you can easily be spotted in this bush if somebody's straight across, but they're on the backside of that little divot. And look at the different bushes there. As long as there's his bush and that bush right there between them, they're not going to see him. Now watch, he's going to put a shot right into this guy. Normally, you would be spotted easily right here. And if somebody was actually, I'll pause the action for a minute. If one of them was actually poking up or prodding around right here, or up on this flat, they'd see him. But he's double bushing this bush and those bushes. And every time those guys poke up over there, they're getting hammered by him and they cannot see him. Now, we're going to watch him do this in several places. I want you to note the places that he does it and use them for your own benefit. Looks like he's trying to go after this Foch B. Crit damage. I guess he broke the optics or something. Don't know what happened there. The RU-251 goes in and now he looks to get some spots. And Squash now is going to move forward. I think he gets spotted. Yeah, that's the first time he gets spotted. Dives down here and he's going to move over to this spot. And he is going to do the same thing in regards to double bushing here after he comes up and looks for a shot or two. Come up here. Oh, nope, there's a 430U. So he doesn't want to dive into that divot yet. He did get spotted, so he's going to back off. The other thing you will notice that he does in this game is extremely careful. He's going to use that hold down capability of the Action X, which is a tier 10 British medium tank, and it has a great turret. He's going to come around here, and then he swings a little bit left, and now he's double bushing again, although his rear end is kicked out a little bit. Probably would straighten up. There he goes. And he's just looking for whatever shot he can get. Well, they had some pretty good power here. They got a T55A, a 430, a 430U. It's backed up by a couple T95s. Gets a nice shot into the side of the T95 right there. Doesn't quite reload in time. Looks like that hit the ground anywhere or went high. And they've got a Foch B. They've got a lot of power in here. They've got a lot of power. Now, it's not a complete overmatch, but they're content to hang out in this little hole here. And artillery is going to start working on them as well. He actually gets spotted right there. Notice the 430U came up, and there was only one bush between the two of them, and he had enough burn through that he was able to see Squash sitting right there. So Squash will back off. No sense getting hit by the T95 if you can avoid it. Patton is working over there, but the problem with the Patton's effort is, number one, his turret's not nearly as good as the Centurion's is. And number two, he's spotted every single time he pops up right there. Whereas Squash is going to hang out right here, in a place where it's very difficult for them to see him because of this double bush action. Let's see, I can get a bounce there. There we go. That's unfortunately a better, softer target showed up right after he pickled. And had the enemy team, the two T95, just driven down there and pushed up, this is probably pretty much all over with the shouting. Takes a shot of opportunity on the 5041. That's not double bushed. He backs out of there. Finally, the TVP T50/51 comes around, and now Squash is getting pushed. His RU buddy is getting pushed. The Progetto is moving around in the middle, but it looks like the Standard V owns him, or at least will. And the 430U, can be hard to pin that upper plate at that angle especially, so he's getting a couple bounces there. But the Foch B looks like he wants to come in, and they are working over the poor RU. Gets one shot into the 430U, and I was basically thinking, you know what, this is going to collapse. This enemy red team has finally grabbed a nut, and they're going to come, but you know what, they don't. The Foch gets kind of hammered, so he's down to sort of a one-shot. The T54E1 is out in the open. He takes another hit. So Squash did a nice job. Notice how careful that was, right? Didn't panic, didn't run away. Took the shots as the enemy team offered him, and serious hits on him. Finally takes some hit from the Foch. Some hit, takes a hit. The 5041 makes a big mistake. Not backed up by the 430U at all. The 430U is content with all those hit points to sit right there. Not making any kind of real aggressive action. It looks like Squash is able to take down the Foch B. Here comes the 430U. Dollar late. Day late and a dollar short. That's what it is. Day late and a dollar short. Watch what Squash does right there. That was really important. The T5051 was firing into the back of the 430U with his clip. Squash probably would have rather have circled the 430U to keep the gun off of him, but he actually cut back to the right and allowed these guys to have the shots on the 430U. Now, if the gun was close, I might have cut across and said, sorry, dude, you just got to wait while I survive. But because the gun was nowhere near, you saw him start initially, and then he cuts back right and leaves the lane open for both those guys. That was great SA right there. And now he's just going to move back up. Takes a shot on the run. And at this point, he is pushing a good situation. So he gets an auto aim on the 430, gets a shot on the T55A, dodges down here, and somehow avoids the T95s getting shots on him. They must not have been ready, or maybe they were repositioning, not really sure. And this is where it gets a little bit dangerous, because boom, there's a Sturv now sitting up on the tracks. There's a couple T95s back there, there's 2 mediums, and he takes a few hits attempting to press this situation. And probably not the best plan to do it up top, and you can see that he ships over here. Remember, this is a great gun depression kind of tank with an amazing turret, so you want to minimize your exposure here. There we go, down goes the 430. He actually bounces a Sturv 103 shot. That's pretty awesome. And we're going to get a shot into the T55A, and he takes 2 hits right there, and that is a bummer because he has no kit. He's able to get out. Nice repair crew, obviously. They did that pretty quickly, and then he's able to back out of this thing. He's going to need to fix his gun. He's got about 7 seconds to do so. T95 staring at him. Little shot into that guy. See how fast he... There he goes. Pretty quickly goes right to the gun. So again, good SA, tracking what's going on with his tank. And this appears to be kind of well in hand. Looks like the artillery got a stun on him. Was maybe aiming at one of the guys behind him, or just shot long. They have 1 up in the north, so at this point, being careful. No sense just jumping out and letting 2 TDs take them down in a 1-2 punch. They will start to get lit. They will be forced to make decisions. Looks like he shoots a little HE into that guy. Down goes the T55A. Down goes the T95. I don't know if he gets any shots. I think he gets 1 more or so on this T95 here. And that's really what happens end game. No, he doesn't get that. He's going to bounce off this artillery, which is a bummer. But 5,784, 3,008 assist. Looking over there. Let's just watch the artillery die. It's always fun. I think he bounced. Yes, armor not penetrated. So he probably hit the gun or some weird angle. Goodness knows what happened there. 5,784 damage, 3,008 assists, 2,170 blocked by that turret. Nice job by Squash Balls. Just careful gameplay, knew the strength of his tank, knew those positions. The tracks are a great place to fight for tanks with good depression. You notice that the Russian mediums had kind of a hard time. It's very difficult to maneuver them on back slopes to get shots. They kind of want to get in and get close and start punching in the face. There were enough of Squash's friends, and the enemy team was timid enough that they never did that. I think had they pushed and swarmed, it would have been all over but the shouting down there in the south. 3 Russian hover mediums backed up by a couple autoloaders who were ready, and maybe even the T95s pushing in. They would have never stopped that. But the enemy team allowed Squash to play his game, and that's what he did. Nice job, man. Thanks for sending that in. I do appreciate it. For everybody else, we will see ya.